Well, y'all, if I can do it for the central air unit running, we'll give you an update on my garden and my yard. It's triple digit temperatures that we've been having. And I must say, my crepe myrtles right there, the bright pink, they have looked the best this year than they have in a couple of summers because of all that rain we got last month. All the storms that came through brought so much rain that it really made a difference with my crepe myrtles. They look so pretty this year. Even the one in the center there, it's not blooming, but it is growing. So, and those wildflowers on the other side of the rock garden right there, the next time you see a garden tour, all of those are going to be cut down because they're dying. They're dropping seed, and what I'll do is bring the mower out here and I will mow it down, and that helps spread those seeds out through the yard. But the crepe myrtle right there in the center, it's still alive. It's living. You know, I planted that last year. A lot of my stuff here has died out because of the extreme heat. The sunflowers are hanging on. I was able to get some mulch to them and a little bit of water, but they need more water. I mean, this restriction we've got is just not helping my flowers or my garden this year. They're all suffering in this triple digit heat with no rain, and we have no rain for another week, it looks like. But at least my sunflowers are still alive. I mean, I don't know for how much longer. If it would just rain, you know. But then sometimes when it rains and then you get a triple digit day the next day, it just fries the plants. I mean, even my marigolds, look how they're suffering. And my 4 o'clocks, I still haven't got them put in a pot. I've got a pot, I just haven't got them put in there yet. And my Shasta daisy, that needs to come out of that, and it needs to go in another pot. My aloe vera that I started from that parent plant this year is doing real well. I just don't know what I'm thinking about putting it out there around that bird bath, because the aloe vera likes the sun where a lot of the other stuff doesn't. So, and I've got aloe vera pups coming up again, so it's putting up babies. That's the parent plant, you know, that I got all the other plants off of this year right there. Let's get away from this AC unit running. But yeah, I'm going to come out here pretty soon and cut those down, because see how dried out they're looking? I'm going to cut all those down and help spread the seeds a little bit. And that poor lettuce plant did not like this triple digit weather. I think last year when I planted one, the lettuce, you know, from the root ball, it was a lot cooler than it is now. It was later in the year. And that kale is trying to come back out, and the perpetual spinach, and look at there, my pepper plants have got buds. They're going to have peppers on there pretty soon. I've still got to move some of that wood to get it burned. I got most of it moved, but not all of it. But I do need to get the rest of it moved. Even these out here in the pots are suffering. That one is suffering. I mean, you just can't keep enough water to them these hot days. My rose bush is still looking good here, though. That's the one, you know, we rooted this summer. I think that's about the only one. There might be one other one that survived, because the rose bush I put there died. And I got 4 o'clocks blooming. So maybe I'll have some 4 o'clocks come back there next year volunteering. Have some volunteer 4 o'clocks. And my poor moonflowers are not doing too good right now. They're really suffering from the heat. Right along with the marigolds and my marigolds are looking kind of pretty, but they still suffer from the heat. And I've got I think that's a sweet dumpling squash right there that I need to pick. Yeah, my marigolds look better this year than they ever have. My rose bush here is hanging on. I mean, that's what this is right here. That's my rose bush. So when these other plants die out, hopefully my rose bush will be okay. My zinnias. And I've got 4 o'clock started there with the zinnias, and I've got a moonflower came up. There was a stray seed got over here somehow. So I got a moonflower. Got zinnias and the sunflower. Don't look too good. It's kind of drooped from the heat. More zinnias. And see, my rose bush survived there. And I got some 4 o'clocks coming up. And that one tall, man, that thing's probably 10 foot tall. Because it's several feet above my head. The rose bush died, the other plants have died, but that one sunflower survived. I got zinnias there. And I'm not sure. And you know, my markers, they're faded out to where you can't read the name on this vine. But it's, I don't know if it's a cantaloupe or it's one of the melons. I'm not sure which one, but I got 4 o'clocks coming up in there too. But it's got blooms on it. We'll see what happens. But I did come out here and work in my watermelons a little bit the other day. And I don't think the watermelon was supposed to turn yellow. I mean, I don't know. It could have been. I've been meaning just to cut it loose and cut it open and see what's going on with it. But even the ground is cracking right there. It's not getting no water. Not getting any water. And I don't know which one this was, a black diamond or something. And I think they were the ones that were supposed to get really big. But see, I got more of my fabric out here. It's all I'm going to do to it. That'll give part of these vines a chance to survive. This one is not doing as well. It gets more sun during the day than the other ones. This one is looking great. I mean, look at this. I don't know. I thought that was a watermelon, but it may be a different type of, I'm not sure anymore. But it's putting out something. Squash or melons or something here. I don't know. And see, there's another one over there. And it's kind of a long. If it's a watermelon, it's a long one. So that might be the big ones that are trying to grow here. But I would have thought that it would have grown straight, not curved up. But I don't know. But there's something, I don't know what type of melon that is, but it's growing. If they'd ever lift this water restriction, I might be able to grow something out here so I can keep it watered. And see, there's another one there. I think these are the big watermelons. I wouldn't stake my life on it, but I think it is. And see, there's one. If I can keep them watered enough to keep them growing. But look at this. These are another type. They're the round ones, but I don't remember how big they're going to get. But see, it's got several on it. There's one there. There's a big one there. I think that was the first one that came on it. I think that's a Black Beauty. Yeah, these are, no, a Black Diamond. These are Black Diamond watermelons here. And there's another little one started right there. I just hope they survive and make decent watermelons. Because that one looks good right there. And that one does too. And it's kind of wedged between the bag and the... But it looks good. So see, you can grow watermelon here if you just keep water to them. And I think I'm going to dig these potatoes out. These were those volunteers that came up. I don't think they're going to do much. Especially out here in this hot sun. I mean, I keep watering them, but you know, they dry out so fast in this intense heat. There's sunflowers up there coming out of the totes. Peppers. That's going to have some peppers on there pretty soon. My walking onions, you know, I've planted some more walking onions down in here. I see some bulbs that are above the ground. They shouldn't be above the ground. See if I can stick them back down in there. I come out here to do a garden tour and I end up working in the garden. That'll bug me till I get that bulb under the ground or under the dirt. See what I can do here. Because there's two bulbs. They're supposed to be under the ground, not up there. I think when I watered it, the water must have washed the dirt off. But anyway, I've got more that I've got to get off of some of these plants and plant them. And there's those onions that Susie had sent. You know, she had sent me some little potatoes to plant. And they're in that tote. I don't know if they'll come up in this heat that we've had. But these are the onions right here. And it looked like I got a potato right there. And I didn't plant potatoes. I had potatoes in here before, so I must have missed one. And it's coming up with my onions. Because I don't think that's a... I don't see those potatoes coming up. Well, no, I don't think that is. Potatoes are not coming up yet. See, the little onions are washing up for some reason. Have to stick it back down under the dirt. Little onion. There's another one. Why are they washing up like that? Maybe I didn't put them down deep enough. Now we'll try that. But I got that volunteer tomato and it's starting to put out blooms, so it's going to have tomatoes on it. And it's right out here in this hot sun every day. Right with the kale. And the powdery stuff that you see on those leaves is Sevin Dust. I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I use Sevin Dust. I've had to this year because it was one of the only things that will keep those grasshoppers from devouring my plants, I found. See, even the kale under the shade is not looking good. It gets too hot. And what I'm going to do, when I plant my sweet potatoes this week, because I got my totes in, I got my slips rooted, I'm going to break off all these leaves. I'm going to give all my kale, all of these plants a haircut, basically. And I'm going to put them in the compost in the totes where I plant my sweet potatoes. So they're going to go into mulch. And look at that. That's another big old tall sunflower. They're all over my head. And look at this. This is one of those pepper plants. And it's got buds all over it. They're either, I've got purple buds or I've got white buds. So I'm not sure which pepper this is going to be yet. Let's see if it hasn't faded off. This is a some kind of hot pepper. This one with the purple. See, I had hot pepper on there and it's almost faded out. That's the one with the purple. And I'm not sure what this one is. I think this was a volunteer that came up from last year, because I don't have a tag down in there. So I can't wait to see what color pepper this one is going to produce with these purple flower buds. My poor melon plant, the volunteer, it's burning up. It's getting so hot. That one already give way. But look at my okra, y'all. Whew. It's hot just walking around and the sun is not even out. I see okra that needs to be picked, and if I don't pick it, it's going to be too tough, maybe by tomorrow, if it's not already too tough. I just twist it till it comes off if I can't pop it off. But yeah, the kale is, I think, in the collards is the only thing I put. See, sometimes you can just pop them, break them right off, and that's when they're the best time to eat them, because they haven't gotten tough yet. Ooh, there's ants all over these. Trying to get the ants off. They want the okra too. I don't know why ants get on the okra. Now they're getting on my hands. I'm going to need to put some ant poison. But I only planted a couple of plants of okra this year. The little wash tub full. Not wash tub, it's the little baby swimming pool. You see, I got a handful of okra. You come out here and pick a handful of okra a day, pretty soon you got a mess to cook. I got peppers in that pot. And I don't know, the vine is climbing the trellis, but it's not doing like it did last year. See, it is climbing, it's all the way to the top. And this one is too, if I can just keep water to it, because it's out in the hot sun all day long. It does not get any relief at all. I need to put my okra down somewhere. Let me go put it on the table. I picked a bunch that was too tough the other day that I left on there too long. And I just laid them on the table. And I'm going to let them go ahead and dry right there. And I'll use them for seed for next year. That way I don't have to buy okra seed. Oh, I wanted to show you too. See, since I cut my peppermint back and I keep it watered, how it's growing again. And it'll fill out and look fuller. It'll look better now. So even my perpetual spinach, my kale, my tomato plant. I got a little tomato plant volunteer right there, and it's even suffering. My hollyhocks have quit blooming on this side because they're getting too much sun. I was going to see the seeds in there. Look at that. Look at the seeds in there. I need to collect my seeds. That is full of seeds, y'all. I got to collect those seeds before they start falling. Ain't that right, little buddy? Huh? He's following me around. Yes, he is. He's following me around. Yeah, he's following me around. He's starting to go do the garden tours again with me. He likes to go walk around the garden. Yes, he does. He likes to walk around the garden. But yeah, hopefully this week I'm going to be able to do something with my 4 o'clocks. My Shasta daisy, because I've already got pots to put them in. I just don't have the dirt put in them yet. But here's my lettuce. Since I moved it over here, it's starting to grow pretty good. And this is just a green lettuce. I filled all 5 tiers with lettuce plants that I started from seed. My rose bush right there is covered. You can't hardly tell I got a rose bush there. It's got that decorative grass. I had bought some of that one year and put it out, and I thought it died. It didn't do anything. And now some of it has come up, and it started spreading all over the yard. And I got it on that rose bush. This one was one of the very first rose bushes I ever planted when I moved here. And it survived through the freezes. It's survive through the droughts. This sun has been so intense that the glue and stuff on the tape that I made this little grid out of to hold my bearded iris up has been melting. I mean, I come out here and the top of it is down to the bottom. So I was out here yesterday trying to figure out a way to tape it back up so it'll stay. I'm hoping it'll stay this time. And then my Bermuda grass is taking over my rose bushes right here at this side. I guess I'll eventually have to move the rock and just mow between them with the lawnmower. You know, just not hit the rose bush, but mow between it, because you can't get rid of that Bermuda grass. Once it gets started, it's there forever. But see the clematis? It's not doing as good over on this side, but it is growing. And there's Lucky. He likes to walk around the garden too. You see, that's drooped down. That got water, I thought, yesterday. Maybe it didn't. Maybe that's one I neglected the water yesterday. I got little cherry tomatoes and Roma tomatoes over there, even though the bushes are looking terrible. They're just suffering from the heat. Look, this is the grapes. They have little clusters of blooms. So it's going to be a cluster of little tomatoes. Just like this one. That was a cluster. They're golden tomatoes. Whew. And see what I was saying about the onions? Look at that red onion. You know, we saw it here a couple of weeks ago and it popped out of the ground. Look how big it's gotten. And look at the white one there. I got more white ones coming up out of the ground, or out of the dirt, and there's a couple of more red ones back there. I didn't plant very many because I didn't know how they were going to do. I still got leeks in here and onions. Look at there. See the onions down there? One back there. And there's one right down there. So I know if I need an onion, I can come out here and grab one. And I planted Egyptian walking onions in this tote. You know, they haven't started growing any yet, but that's what's planted there. And my turnips. Oh, I've been having to water these. My arugula. This is the first time I've ever planted any arugula, and I put it in that little pot because I wasn't sure how it was going to do, but that looks pretty good considering this heat. And all my turnips. I'm anxious to see if I'll get any turnips out of this. I mean, I'm sure I will if I can keep my plants alive. They don't burn up. Yeah, I'm seeing a couple of turnips making right there. So, giving a little bit more time, and there's one down there. So they're bulbing up. I'll have turnips. I don't know how big they'll be, but I'll have turnips. And there's my I can't remember the name of them. Purple beauty bell pepper. So those are my purple bell peppers. I've never planted purple ones before, but they're full of blooms, so I should be getting some purple bell pepper. And there's a tomato plant that I rooted. You know, I told you how you could break them off or cut them off, the suckers, and it'll start a new plant. Well, there's a new plant right there, and it's growing pretty. My poor zucchini or squash is not looking good. Squash and zucchini do not like this extreme heat. The tomatoes don't like it either. Look at that poor squash plant or zucchini. It's just looking like it's on its last leg. The peppers like the heat. As long as you keep them watered, they love the heat. And that poor squash, look. It's on its last days, looks like. It just gets too much sun. And you know, I've tried to protect them what I can with my shade cloth, which I haven't done a very good job with what shade cloth I had. But it's helped the turnips for sure. Putting that little canopy of shade cloth over the top and trying to... Water is the most important thing. I mean, a lot of times they can survive the heat if they get water. My problem is the water. They keep us restricted with watering to where my plants are going to die. Little buddy, he keeps going between my legs. I'm going to step on him. Look at him. I try to walk and he weaves in and out of my legs. I'm going to end up stepping on him. Yeah, I need to break some of these leaves that the bugs had gotten to and put them in my compost when I do my totes for my sweet potatoes this week. Look at him. He's right at my feet to where I can't walk. You're as bad as Little Buddy. Little Buddy does the same thing a lot of times. I'm going to step on you. I can't move my feet. And I got a melon here vining up the trellis, but I'm not sure what type of melon it is anymore. I think it was a canary yellow. That might be what that is out in my watermelon patch that's turning yellow. Maybe it's supposed to turn yellow. I don't know. I've never planted watermelon before, but my peppers and my green stalk are looking good. At least I've got something growing in it other than burn up beans and worm-eaten kale and Brussels sprouts. I need to pull that Brussels sprout plant out because the bugs won't leave it alone and you can't eat it because it's just too messed up. Probably need to put it in the compost. Lucky, I gotta move my legs. I can't walk if you don't move. And here's my peas that I replanted. Look how big they are already. I just planted those a couple of days ago. And look at them. These are the foot-long beans, or the noodle beans, that I've replanted, and I replanted some in this pot so they'll go up this trellis on this side. I mean, you can concession plant. That's what I'm going to try to do with some of my squash and my zucchini. See if I can start some new plants and see if I can get a couple of squash and zucchini. But I didn't like these beans that were planted here before. They were a different type of pea that I planted that it produced a ton of little, like 3-inch long beans, but they were so hard. You could not even bite them. They were so hard. So I pull those out and I've replaced them with the footlong beans. See, I got a couple of plants here coming up in this one. I planted one in this pot. Look at this. He's laying right down here at my feet. I'm going to step on him. Yeah, but hopefully I can get it to going up the trellis like I got the other ones before. And they'll do a lot better. See, these are at least the size of a green bean. That one's dried out from the heat, but at least it's an edible bean. And it produces a little bean in there. And there's my walking stick kale. Lucky, you gotta move. And I gave up on the lettuce that was there. I thought it was dead for sure, but one sprig stayed alive. And I got a couple of tomato plants here coming up with my others. These are the Cherokee Purple, I think. My Cherokee Purple tomato plants. I decided to put them in here because if they get very tall, then the sunflower stalks can act as a trellis for my tomato plants. Those two are looking real good. But they're Cherokee Purple. And this one is still surviving. It's hanging in there, but I think it's got one of those, some of those squash bugs or worms got into it. Look, it's not going to last much longer. It's probably not even going to last long enough for those blooms to produce the squash. And my poor cucumber vine here is not doing very well. It don't like the sun. It's suffering. But look at the peppers. And my walking onions here. My tomato plants here are suffering because they get a lot of sun during the day. The tops of them are looking good, but I don't know, they just burn up. I think this whole section next year I'm going to plant. I'm not going to put tomatoes here. I'm going to put my eggplants. I mean, this tomato bush, look, it's producing a nice tomato, but the plant is burning up. It really is. And I've got another canary yellow melon. I think that's what that is. I got stakes down in there, but like I said, the sun, yeah, it's a canary yellow melon. But that tomato is just about ready to be picked. Yeah, it seemed like the eggplant likes it over here. You know, I had a tomato plant here. And this is fixing to put out an eggplant right there. And right here. And these already have started putting out them. The black beauties, I think is what they call them. There's one over there. One up under there. Now, what is this on my eggplant? What is that bug? Y'all know? It's all over that eggplant right there. I don't know what those bugs are. I'm going to have to put something on them to get those off. Yeah, I don't like to spray my plants if I can help it. But there's me an, well, that's kind of a deformed pepper, but it's a pepper. This is the bush that I picked those two off of the other day and cooked them. And see, I do have Roma tomatoes still. The heat hasn't I mean, it's pretty much stopped the production of my tomatoes almost, because I don't have as many blooms on them as I had. But I still do have tomatoes that are ripening. And you know what? Before I forget it, I am going to get my if I can get lucky to leave my tripod alone, I am going to get my sprayer out and I'm going to spray that eggplant, because I don't know what those bugs are. I've never seen them before. And this is just a spray that is safe to use in your garden on your plants. But I don't know what these bugs are. I don't want them on my eggplant. I don't know if this will even phase them, but I don't want them on my eggplant. I don't know what those things are. They look like a cross between a spider and an ant. They look like orange ants almost. But I can't do much to get rid of the bugs, but you know, I can do what I can do. And I know some people say, well, oh, we don't use pesticides on our plant vegetables. We go all organic. Well, I'll tell you what, a lot of that organic stuff don't work. A lot of that organic stuff, if it will kill the bug, it will kill the plant. I'm going to enlarge that so you can see those. What are those things? They look almost like an aggressive orange ant. And this stuff don't even seem to phase it. Look at it. They went right back after that eggplant. I've never seen those kind of bugs before. I don't know what else to do to get rid of them. But yeah, a lot of this organic stuff that they claim is organic, it's so good and healthy for your plants. No pesticides. Well, let me tell you, a lot of that stuff don't work. And like I said, if it will kill the bug, it'll kill the plant. I'm hoping that will get them off of there and maybe kill them eventually. I don't know how long it'll take to kill them. But I'll come check tomorrow. I don't know what that kind of bug that is. Looks like some kind of species of ant. Where'd it go? There's one. Looks like a bright orange ant. I've never seen an ant that color. Look at that. Evidently they don't like the poison because they left the eggplant. Pretty much. There's one or two still there. If y'all have ever seen these orange looking ants before, or spider ants, or whatever they are, leave in the comments what their name is, if you know. Because I've never in my life seen them. I've never had ants like this on my eggplants before. Isn't that something? They're getting on the one down there too, the big one. They don't seem to like it. They pretty much left that one, except for maybe one still on it. But I've never seen that type of an ant-looking bug before. I'm going to have to look up on the internet any type of insect that attacks eggplants. He's leaving it. He don't seem to like it, but that don't mean he won't come back. Yeah, if anybody knows what that type of bug is, put in the comments. I'd love to know. But that pepper plant's fixing to have some peppers. I got some jalapenos back there already, and I just haven't picked them. And I got an eggplant right there that's growing pretty good. They're all the Black Beauty, I think, if the heat don't kill the plants. Pretty tomato. But see, these tomato plants are pretty tall. I got them tied up. And this one is coming all the way over from that other side over there. I'm going to tied up to this trellis here. If I can ever remember to do that, so it don't break off. And look at my buckets of walking onions. Close that down a little bit. See, they're putting out babies too. I just haven't harvested any off of this yet. But they're starting to bunch up. Look where he found to get, on top of the compost pile, or compost bin. And I wanted to show you too, remember I told you how to cut off your suckers or your tomato plants and put them in the ground and they'll root? Look at this one. It's starting to grow. And I got one over there in the ground here, and I've got one right there. So they will grow if you keep them wet, moist, keep the dirt moist. And that was one that I cut off, I think. It had had green tomatoes on it. Yeah, I think I'm going to rearrange my garden next year. But my compost pile is starting to drop. I'll be able to use a lot of that dirt compost in my totes to plant my sweet potatoes. And see, my cucumbers, they're suffering. And they're in the shade part of the day. But they're still suffering from this heat. Don't know if I got any cucumbers. I thought I had one out here. There's one. And see what happens when they get too hot? They do that. They swell up and get yellow. I'm trying to hold a cucumber and my camera at the same time. See? That littlest one is probably edible, but the other one's probably bitter. And it's all from the lack of water and the heat. I see a pretty one though. Let's see if I can go over here. And cucumbers are something that you don't see when you're looking. See, there's one started. And like I said, I've got 5 or 6 different cucumbers planted here. So each one is going to look different, and you're going to wonder, well, what kind is that? There was one right over here somewhere. I could see it from the other side. Now I lost it. Oh, it's up at the top. See right there? See if I can get over there to that one. Get my shoe on. I almost lost my shoe. Yeah, they're all different types of cucumbers I've got growing here. Because I wasn't sure which one would do the best. So I decided to mix them up. See, that one's a pretty good little cucumber. And it's not a straight 8, so it's all right if it's curved. Doesn't matter. I saw another little one somewhere. Oh well. It wasn't big enough to pick, so... Oh, right there. The key is keeping water to your plants. And with restrictions like we've got, it's almost impossible to grow anything. You can't pump your own water. They won't allow you to do that. But my pepper plants, my tomato plants over here are looking halfway decent. They're, you know, the leaves are turning because they can't handle this heat. But all of the, for the most part, the suckers that I cut off, the tomatoes that I put in the pots to root, they're living and they're growing. And there's my Hungarian hot pepper. I had 2 of them that survived out of all of them. And there's the bell pepper in with my lettuce. I put a tomato plant there trying to root it. That's one I just put down, so it hasn't started doing anything yet. But right here, it's producing little cucumbers. If I can, Lucky, get away from my tripod. It's got a little cucumber there. And see, there's another tomato plant that I started from just a little cutting that I cut off of one of the other ones. And there too. And my basil. I have got to harvest my basil and dry some. Tomato plants. See, even here in the shade, they get too hot. I intended to come out here and harvest my basil today. There's another tomato plant I started from a cutting. And there's my other basil. I've got to get out here maybe tomorrow or the next day at least and cut that basil. And what I'll do is I'll cut it halfway down. Just give it a haircut. Give it a crew cut. The Egyptian walking onions. My peppers here. My tomato. I had to wait till the sun went down to come out here and do this because it's been too hot. It's still like 96 degrees right now. My rosemary, tomato plant, my pepper plant, my purple walking kale. There's another one that I cut, and I started it from a cutting, that tomato plant there. I got a tomato plant in the center there. And I've got those two plants that I've got to get in pots. I've got a mandevilla, and I don't remember what that is, but I've got to get it in its own pot. And see, I've got a tomato plant started there from a cutting. I just put that one in like the other one over there so it's not started to put out leaves or grow or anything. It takes it a little bit to do that. But it was crazy, you know. My mandevilla there, the yellow one, has been blooming. My hollyhocks. I don't know, for some reason they decided to bloom this year. Put those cucumbers down so I can walk. Yeah, I'm sweating like crazy out here, even with the sun down. But look how brown the yard is. All the leaves are dried up. That's what triple-digit temperatures will do with no water to your plants or your yard. Caladiums are starting to come up. They're looking halfway decent up here in the top of the tower. But they need a lot more water than what they've been getting. My rose bushes, as I call it, yellow rose of Texas. I don't know if it's yellow or white, but my knockout rose bush is still surviving there. Yeah, I'm going to get out here the next few days and cut down those wildflowers. And see, this rock garden does not hold moisture. So the flowers out here really suffer when you can't water them. The marigolds look halfway decent, but they don't even look as good as they should look. I mean, my rock gardens look pitiful this year. They used to be so pretty when we got decent rain before they restricted us with water. When I was at least able to keep stuff watered, you know, all my rock gardens and everything looked real good. But when you're restricted and you can't water, I mean, what are you going to do if it don't rain? You know, you're in trouble when it comes to keeping your plants alive. I mean, I've lost so much money of flowers and bulbs and things that I put in that rock garden out front till it's ridiculous. Hey, you guys quit. Don't you fight. They want to fight. I don't know if I've left this door open or not. But I got all my sweet potato slips that I got to do something with this week. And I don't know how I'm supposed to keep them alive when they don't want me to water. So, well, it's getting dark, y'all.